Kawhi Leonard is apparently going to be out for an indefinite amount of time, and this is partially due to, or not partially, it's due to a knee injury. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago, for everything NBA related. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize, and I just want to give a quick update. We probably have more detail on this on a longer form episode, but Kawhi Leonard is out now for an indefinite amount of time due to an undisclosed knee injury, and the Clippers aren't being very forthcoming in regards to what this injury is. They are saying it's not related to his prior ACL injury. So, right now it seems like they're trying to downplay the severity of the issue right now. He will not be in the Clippers opening night game or anything like that. But, Leonard said this: we're taking it day to day. Everything is going great for the past month, but we're being very cautious for certain reasons. In the past, I haven't been able to finish some playoff runs, so making sure I stay healthy for those important moments. Now, we don't know what's going on here, right? And the Clippers aren't, like I said, being very forthcoming on what it is, but it doesn't look good. For a player like Kawhi Leonard, who has had a problem staying healthy, he's just been part of Kawhi Leonard and who he really is basically since he left the Toronto Raptors, right? Even, a little bit before then, the season before then, he had a major injury with the Spurs. So, missing a lot of games is just a part of it when it comes to Kawhi. He's missed at least 14 games in each of the last two seasons. It's always something going on with Kawhi. And for a Clippers team, that lost Paul George, that's still trying to, you have a owner in Steve Ballmer who's very aggressive. And I actually feel like Steve Ballmer is a coach that actually wants this thing to be wants this team to become a championship contending team. And I think he's willing to pay for whatever it takes. You got to have something to build around. And right now, building around the shaky legs of Kawhi Leonard, this isn't something that's going to happen. And it's unfortunate what comes down to it. But Kawhi Leonard, we heard a couple of days ago that Joel Embiid said he may never play back-to-backs again. And that may be something that Kawhi Leonard needs to adapt as well. You look at it, Kawhi Leonard, the most games he's played since the 2017-18 season is 68 games, and that was just last year. He has not played over 60 games besides one time since 2017-18. Now, he did play 60 in 18-19 when they won the title, but he's not played over 60 games. He's only played over 60 games one time since 2017-18. That's crazy, right? And so when you look at it with Kawhi Leonard, and, Kendrick Perkins came out and said that Kawhi Leonard should consider retiring. And while I'm not going to say anything that drastic here right now, if this continues, I'm sure at some point you got to ask yourself, like, what are you really benefiting from here? Like, Kawhi Leonard's only 33 years old. Theoretically, right now, Kawhi Leonard should be at a time period where, yeah, he's declining, but he still has 4-5 years left on his career. And you just can't say that adamantly for when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. And it's unfortunate because when Kawhi's on the court, we know what Kawhi can be when he's on the court. You look at last year, 23 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 3 assists. He averaged over a steal, over a block per game. Like, Kawhi, when he's healthy, can be a dog. And I don't think any people are really doubting what Kawhi can be when he's healthy. The bigger thing is how often is Kawhi Leonard going to be healthy, and can you manage it enough to where you can actually go on any type of meaningful run or do anything meaningful, or can you build a team around him that's solid enough when Kawhi's down, you're still going to be able to compete and get yourself to a place where you're able to manage his injuries until the playoffs. And that's something that we have not seen a solid answer, the Clippers find an answer to up until this point. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because the Clippers, have had really good teams. I'm not as high on this team as I have been in the last couple of years, but man, it's crazy. Big Kev in the building says, Kawhi, you still in the league? That is crazy. I wish I would have put that on the thumbnail. That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, man, it's really crazy when it comes down to it, how Kawhi Leonard's career is gone. Of course, you wish the best for Kawhi Leonard, and maybe this is just a slight hiccup. But to me, with the way the way that the team is handling this, right? Not being as forthcoming, not being as open about what this injury is. Right now they're labeling it as inflammation. Is that right? Inflammation of the knee. Yeah, inflammation. Why am I overthinking a word I know how to say? Inflammation of his right knee. But to me, listen, Inflammation doesn't mean that you're out for an indefinite amount of time. Now, is there a bone bruise? Is there something else going on like that? Like, there's a lot of questions when it comes down to this. And right now, there are no answers on it. And it's really unfortunate because again, I'm not a Clippers fan. But I'm a basketball fan. And, for a team that they've built, and like I said, I've had times of enjoying the Clippers team and things like that, like liking what they do, liking what they have out there on the court. But at some point, the Clippers are going to have to ask themselves a tough situation or a question. What can you really do with Kawhi being part of your core? And if you can't really do anything for a team that is actually not in that bad of a cap situation, they're actually $4 million below the first apron now. They'll be $26 million below it next year. And you look at it in 2027-28, they can be $183 million below the first tax apron. And so the Clippers have to look at that and say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for this? Like, what is the real future for you with Kawhi Leonard? And we'll see what happens with that one. Kawhi's still a superstar, but availability is the issue. I think Kawhi can only play a certain amount of games at this point. Absolutely facts, Vern. That's why I say, like, back-to-backs need to just be off the question for Kawhi forever, right? And maybe it gets to a point to where maybe at the beginning of the season, you're load managing him for a while, and then you still do that, not as strongly throughout this. I don't know the answer, right? Because with Kawhi, it's always something. It's always something when it comes down to Kawhi. Expect a call from LA. Why do you link everything? Reginald, I get it that this is an NBA channel, and I know that you found it from Chicago Bulls Central, but in every time you leave a comment, you link something back to the Bulls. Do you watch the general NBA, or you just now? If you want to just watch me, that's fine. I appreciate you. I love you, brother. But everything ain't got something to do with the Bulls, my boy. That's all I got to say. Everything ain't got something to do with the Bulls. Like you said that the Chicago Bulls should offer De'Aaron Fox the Supermax. You know goddamn well that we ain't got no money. Come on, Reginald. Get it together, my boy. Get it together, my boy. All I got to say is you're a Chicago Bulls, so here goes another one. It could be worse. You could have Kawhi Leonard type of luck. That's shit. You ain't lying on that one. DeMar is the exception. Crazy how much DeMar is healthy. I think because he doesn't go as hard on D. Oh, no, that has nothing to do with it. DeMar is just healthy because that's just like injury is just sometimes luck. And it's sometimes your people's bodies just aren't able to withstand. I don't think it's about going hard or defense or not, but you look at DeMar doing yoga and shit like that. Like DeMar puts himself in his body in a position where, he's able to withstand a lot. So, that plays a part into that as well. But yeah, man. But I just wanted to bring that update. Like I said, when we do a more longer term, actual daily episode of NBA Central, I'll get into that a little bit as well. We may try to have C-Dub on that episode as well. But just crazy. The luck of Kawhi Leonard really does suck. It really does suck, man. But make sure you guys are following the show at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. NBA Central. pod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to send us any feedback, any voicemails for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799 for the number one spot for everything basketball related. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.